better you can wire brush, the better it looks like you can weld.
Yeah, that's it. That looks good, dude.
What? What do you think?
As little as possible.
Oh my God.
Gotta.
We got this guy made up off camera, just trying out the new tubing notcher. It wound up looking pretty okay. It's gonna fit in here kind of like so. I need to bring these two frame rails closer together, but before I can do any of that, I need to finish welding up and gap welding the inside of the existing frame. So I think I'm gonna do that first, stick this guy on here, and then we're gonna get suspension mounted today, front suspension mounted today. Gloves, shirt.
Rule number 3.
Turn your helmet on. Man, it feels nice today. Yeah, so I'm gonna get this thing kinda set kind of where it's gonna go.
What do you call those little doohickeys that put the magnets that hold stuff in place for you?
Strong hands.
Strong hands.
Strong hands.
We like those.
We like those. They are super useful. Looks about right. I don't know what else you can really ask for other than that. What's that smell? Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing across the bottom. Ooh, them's toasty. Ooh, them's toasty as well.
Oh, is it still hot?
It's so hot. Okay, well we'll just leave those be for now. Shit. Well,
try again.
Only one thing to do. You wanna hear something fun? I smell gasoline.
That is fun. Spice things up a little bit.
These could be some spicy welds. Probably just gonna stick with a couple tacks in them for now. Or maybe I should have learned some kind of a lesson just now. Not really sure. It's kind of hard looking at these. Like, you'd think it would be easy to just see which one is which and which side is top and bottom, but that's not as easy as you'd think. Weird. The purpose of these is to act as templates. I have what were known locations for the forward control arm mounts, upper and lower, on this Rancher. What I want to do is kind of translate that to this thing, because I don't know that this is the right geometry necessarily, but it's a geometry that did work, so it's a good like starting point as far as where our upper control arm needs to go. Obviously, our lower is fixed. We know where that's going. So now I just need this to line up with this, and then this can line up with this, and hopefully hold it in place so that then, with this solid and not moving around a bunch, we can start building our structure out that actually holds our upper control arm in place. You see how it just rotates in space, but it doesn't move. That's what you want. That's what you want. That just means that everything, like the geometry of this, is such that nothing's putting weird pressure on other stuff. That's probably not true, but it look like it is, and that's all that matters. It floats nice and free, nothing binds up. That's what you want. Except the brakes. They kind of bind up a little bit. What if we grab one of the front tires? Drinker side. Boy, we have to be careful though, because that's just tacked. But worth it. We'll scoot this over to like, I don't know, here. Just so we've got some room. This is sitting up off the ground. We've got some room to like go get the tire and mount the tire on here. I say mount the tire. We're gonna just set it on there and
see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Let's do it. That's fun. Sounds fun.
Let's do that. So nothing up here is tight. So the camber's kind of flip-floppity, but I did make sure to snug everything down when I was setting the position of our upper control arm, just to make sure that the camber is the same on both sides. So now that I've kind of just let everything fall loose, you're gonna have some funky little like slop things where, you know, camber can do whatever it wants. But anyway, it's all kind of accounted for. So let's see if this tire, let's just see what this looks like. I gotta be careful here because this is only tacked in place. And I don't want to pull those tack welds off, and this is a lot of leverage on these A-arms if I let it be. Okay, this is telling me a couple things. One, what does it look like? And two, is this an appropriate ride height? That's it. That's the camber that it will wind up having. Bro.
That looks good, dude.
What? Dude, this thing's gonna kill us. That's a good amount of steering angle, dude. Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
This way, whatever. But what I was concerned about just messing around with this thing off camera was how much steering angle I could get before the inside of the tire hits
the floorboard.
The floorboard. What I really want to do next is tie the upper A-arm pivot point into the frame. I will probably draw a line between here and like somewhere up here-ish. And wherever that kind of crosses over this upper frame rail is where I'm gonna pull a piece of tubing from. It's gonna stick out, you know, obviously to here to meet up with that pivot point. But it's gonna come out, tie into a plate that's the outermost mounting bracket, the outermost pivot point for this upper A-arm, and then another tube will tie into the bottom of that plate and come back in here, maybe back somewhere. Maybe we tie it in kind of underneath the engine mount. I'm not sure about that yet, but we'll tie this in. We'll have a plate on each outside portion, on the forwardmost and aftmost section of these pivot points. So we'll do the same thing on the front. From this plate, we'll have a tube that ties into the top of the chassis and a tube that ties in here at the bottom. And then obviously we'll have bracing. I'm not sure where yet, but like this is gonna get boxed in. We're gonna box in the bottom because it's pretty flexible right now. It's strong, but it's flexible. We need to get all that flex out, or a lot.
And it's only all tacked together as well.
Yeah,
so it's not even as secure as it's going to be.
Right.
And it's still going to get more bracing.
But here's my thinking on that is, if it's done correctly, like geometrically correctly, you shouldn't really have any flex even with it tack welded, because the you know, all of your tube frame should be helping to distribute the load of kind of, you know, most of your points of deflection in the chassis itself. I think, I don't know, I want it to be solid when it's tack welded in place, because then I know it's solid when it's welded in place all the way.
Fair enough.
Boxed in. Oil cooler back where about it's gonna go.
Question.
Yeah.
According to how it's mocked up, the rear axle is going to have to shift back at least a foot.
Yeah, something like that.
About a foot.
Yeah.
So why not just shift it back enough to go mid-engine and then put your gas tank and battery in this compartment? Why not do that?
Well, that's boring.
And then that would mean a shorter drop shaft.
Yeah, but I have a shorter drive shaft. I've got the drive shaft that came out of this thing, and that's boring. Weight distribution's not as good that way. I like having this weight balanced out over the front and rear axles a little bit.
This forces you to build a drive shaft.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this. I like the idea of building a super sketchy drive shaft.
Super sketch. Why's it gotta be super?
Well,
Why
it
can't
would
it just
only
be
be medium sketchy if I took it down to Johnny Weld's a lot down the road.
Fair.
But I'm doing it.
You're doing it.
With
That's
flux
right.
core, maybe
Super.
stick. So it's going to be
Super sketch.
super sketchy. This is going to be our rear upper support for our upper A-arm here. But I need to figure out exactly how long I'm going to make this thing. It'll wind up being about there.
Anytime you see cotton whip out of measuring tape, you already
It's time
know.
to get real insecure. This one's nice for getting those little like contours and stuff. Hey, that's what I'm looking for right there. It's a lot better. That's pretty cool, man. Those are pretty close to the same thing. Ish. I think that'll give us what we need.
That's where the plate's gonna be?
Well, it's where I'm gonna, yeah, I reckon it will be. I'm gonna make that cut and then kind of adjust from there a little bit. But yeah, that's what we'll run into the plate. Okay, that's all. So we're gonna have these plates here. We'll have one in the back and one in the front, and this is gonna act as kind of a tie-in point for our frame, so that we can actually like mount this upper A-arm nice and solid. But I think that these will also double, if I leave these plates kind of the size that they are, they'll double as a mounting point later for some kind of, you know, if we want fenders or I'm not really sure what, but it'll be a plate that we can kind of build off of for other things in the future.
If it doesn't break, you didn't send it hard enough.
Yeah.
If it does break,
Whoops. Carb out the way.
free feet warmers.
What? Feet picks?
I'm gonna start wearing my safety work flops.
Man, telling you, they're pretty great. I don't ever get burned. That's not true. I get burned all the time. But you get used to it, and that's why they're safe. I didn't need that anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be okay.
That's $30 an hour, dude.
Hey, man. Oh, no.
We'll start you off at $30 an
Oh,
hour.
no. The better you can wire brush, the better it looks like you can weld.
Yeah, that's it.
That doesn't go that side. That goes on this side. Yeah, I mean, I think that that's as secure as it was the other way around.
Than the first one.
They fit enough to where if you just get them like a little bit off,
They fall.
it'll hold.
Oh, but the other way. Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
hold too.
I mean, yeah, I say we weld that up.
Yep.
What do you think?
As little as possible.
Oh my God.
Gotta.
Cut it.